Whoa! Didn't see you standing there in the dark. It's a little creepy, don't you think? Glad you're here, though. Yeah, good times. Okay, well, I'm just recovering a little bit from the surprise and shock of seeing you there. But since you're here, let's do some work. Let's work on cars. Let's dispense with the, ridiculousness. Even though we're not going to, because, that's just what's going to happen. So, we're working on the Mustang. That's what we're going to work on. I've named this project Drag Out just because it's kind of been dragging out. And it's a, it's kind of a drag car. That's what it's set up for, sort of ish. So I play on words in a weak sense. Just work with me here, okay? Jeez. Anyway. Yeah, so we're gonna finish buttoning it up, putting it together. Hopefully the parts that we need come in and we can finish all the different projects on the car. I don't know if we're going to do anything other than that. If you're not interested in this Mustang, well, I guess grab a cup of coffee and go over there in one of the chairs and, play on your phone or something. But that's what we're going to be doing. So, yeah, I'm just going to dive into it and then kind of at various points, I suppose I'll explain what we're doing, why, maybe not. I don't know. Oh, you almost gave me a heart attack. Well, as you can see, I'm lowering the car to the ground. You know what I just realized? Hang on a minute. Let me see. Let's see. Oh no, I can do it. I thought maybe I had to lower the car on like pieces of wood to get it up like I do on the Cobra, but I think these will slide out. Yeah, I'll take you in here and kind of show you what I did, I guess. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just wait until the parts come in. So I'm just gonna start cleaning up here and push this car off the lift because I got the A-pillar gauges in, but I still have to bleed the fuel line coming from the fuel line feed by running the fuel pump, you know, cracking it, getting some air out of it. So I've got fuel in that line. But I'm waiting on parts for the gauge cluster. I'm waiting on the high-low beam switch and then a pigtail because one of the pigtails was melted. Why are you standing way over there, by the way? I feel like you're like, do I smell bad? No, I feel like I showered this morning. Anyway, I'll just walk toward you. How about that? So I did that. So I'm waiting on the anti-slosh, you know, I was going to say SIM card. It's not a SIM card. It's whatever, circuit board, voltage regulator, whatever. Before I can put that together, like I said, I'm waiting on a switch and a pigtail to come in. So we're basically at a dead stop standstill until I get, till those parts come in. This is real life. So I swapped out these fronts to match the rears because that's what the customer wanted. Whatever. It was just something real quick and easy to do. So what else? Where am I at? What am I thinking? I don't even know. I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna clean up, push this out of the way, and we're gonna do something else that's not related to this car at all since we're waiting on parts. This is real life, you know? What am I gonna just go sit and watch TV and wait, you know, a day and a half for parts? Well, doesn't sound like a bad idea, but then I would miss inventorying some new parts that I got in for the car I have decided to name Mr. Ed. You know, I had Mr. F. He's gone, by the way. Gone for paint, and this is Mr. Ed. I know you're probably wondering why Mr. Ed, because why Mr. F? It just, if I have to explain it, I just feel like it will lose some of its mystery, you know, because then I would have explained it and then it's not a mystery. So just Mr. Ed, that's his name. So, whatever. Okay, so we're stopping till parts come. And then let's go play around, see what new stuff we got. And then when we jump back into this, I can go through what I did, but it'll be exciting. I'm sure riveting, you know. You might even have to, you know, stop your solitaire game and actually pay attention. I don't know. All right, yeah, let's walk over here. Oh, I was gonna clean up first. Let's clean up first. Energy suspension pieces. Polyurethane suspension pieces. Polyurethane is great. You just have to make sure that you grease it so it's not squeaky. As long as you assemble it with the lube, it's, you know, pretty good, pretty tight. So I'm not like the 100% always use polyurethane. It's great. It doesn't have as much give as rubber. So if you're looking for racy and tight, yeah, great. Or really racy, everything's just like hard mounted with Heim joints. But if you're looking for, you know, something more stock and comfortable and just perfectly fine, use rubber. It's been around a long time. Anyway, that was just a random opinion of mine. Starter heat shield. Yeah, sure. Why not? What else do we got here? Right and left door latches. Ooh. Let's take a look at these. We're doing an unboxing here. Let's just see what exciting thing is in this clear plastic bag. Except I can't open it. Yep. Yep. Cut to having the bag open. Okay, that was easy. Door latches. Okay, so I'm just curious. I'm just taking in on a couple things here just because it's kind of fun. Let me go get a knife. I'll be right back. Just hang out. Hang out over there. It's okay. All right. Got my steps in for the day. Okay. Oh, okay. They're not they're the interior, they're the mechanisms. Definitely need those. Lots and lots of other random stuff. When I say random, I mean just all the little bits and pieces you need to put a car together that nobody sees once the car's put together, but that if aren't there, they definitely notice. Oh, look at this. Oh, looks like an ignition, door locks, trunk lock. Genius. Okay, I'm gonna just keep after this. I've got more boxes and stuff, but it's a Jegs bag, a bag from Jegs with stuff in it. All right, carry on. Well, we got some parts in for the whatever, unnamed car that I haven't named. So part of the problem with the headlights not working ended up being the high-low switch. So the high beam, low beam switch is on the turn signal stalk with the wipers and all of that. So I had to do that, but one of the plugs that goes in the back of it was all melted. So I also bought a new harness, and we just have some light bulbs here for the smoke tail lights in the back because they need to be colored now. So all of that we're gonna jump in on. But as I walked up to the car after I moved it over here, I noticed there's some fluid down here. I don't know what it is. Let me lay on the floor. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure it out. It's coming from somewhere. Started leaking when I was moving the car. So I thought maybe it was power steering fluid, but well, there you go. I wonder if what happened is it pushed out. Oh, it appears that it pushed out the cap. Well, that's actually good news. I was turning the wheel without the car running, and it's possible I have caused it to overflow, and it's overflowed on the floor. So, not a problem. I will clean it up, and it should be fine. So, okay, there. You just saw, you know, anxiety and relief, all in the span of, 30 seconds. So don't get too worked up until you know what the problem is. That's the lesson there, I think. All right, well, yeah, we're gonna get back to this. All right, let's see. We've got gauges and whatnot. Oh, we got lights. Go. We've got it. Okay, well, we do have headlights now, so that's good. We've got dash lights. I actually think his panel dim switch is going bad. Yeah, just think it's going bad. I had to play with it, and I got lights everywhere. I just don't have lights there. I wonder if this one came off. Probably did come off. Of course, I think my bulb came out of this one because I can see some light leaking through, but it's not in the gauge. So, have to fix that. But everything else, oof. I'll tell you one thing. It smells like gasoline in here. This engine is running rich. Probably because it's getting some extra air and doesn't really know what to do. I guarantee the plugs are fouled, but the owner's going to be taking this car to get tuned on a dyno, so they'll have a chance to swap plugs out and get it running right. So, but yeah, everything looks amazing to me. I like it. Hey, up here. My eyes are here. So let's look where my eyes are. Okay, thank you, camera guy. I've just decided that I can't afford a new camera guy, and for what I'm paying this guy to do it, if, you know, he starts dropping the camera, hey, you know, if he can't get me in the frame, then, well, you know, I get what I pay for, right? So, I thought I was done with the project, which is the Mustang here. And then as I was testing out the instrument cluster, the turn signals weren't working. And I couldn't remember if the turn signals worked when I got the car or didn't. I didn't try them. I don't know why I would have tried them. So that's no good. I was trying to test my bulbs in the back and all that, and you know, the flashers would flash, but I had no turn signal. And like I said, I couldn't remember. So I thought, you know, my first thought was, you know, fuse and then flasher relay. Well, there's 2 flasher relays. So I checked the one, which is actually, it's the one in the fuse box, which is actually just the hazard flasher relay. There's a separate relay for turn signals. But instead of hunting that down first, I decided to check my new turn signal stock that I put in. So I plugged in the old one, I checked all the connections, and it was all good. Because I like to create more work for myself a lot of times. So that was a way that I could test something without actually hunting down the other relay. So it was good times were had. And then when that proved to not solve the problem, I thought, well, I guess it's about time that I start looking for this other fictitious relay that's supposed to be in this car. I found the horn relay, but that wasn't the right one. And so there were 3 different places where it could be. And let me just let you look at the car instead of at me, and then I'll show you the 3 places typically on these cars where the flasher relay is. So, of course, the first relay, this is the hazard relay. So sometimes they'll put the flasher relay for the turn signals up under there. Sometimes they'll put it kind of in line with the steering column. Sometimes they'll put it behind the radio. And sometimes they put it kind of under the, you know, place where you put your gloves, because that's what everyone puts in there. They should call it the insurance and registration, you know, box. That's what it is. Anyway, so I've searched around and finally I found it. It was tucked up. It was the factory one that I pulled out of there. Never been replaced, as far as I could tell. And popped a new one in there. It's just hanging there for now. And hey, guess what? Solved the problem. I was a little disappointed. I was hoping it would have taken me longer than it took me to discover and fix. But, you know, I guess that means I need to go do something else, because I fixed that way sooner than I should have. Okay. Well, yeah, hang out for a minute. I gotta figure out what I'm doing now. I guess I'll probably vacuum out the car since I dropped some whatever's behind the dash as I was fiddling around. I'll zip tie some things up, and then we'll see. Then we'll see. Okay, deal? All right. So most of the things I did, the customer supplied the parts in this case, and this hood is one of them. He needed extra clearance for, well, let me get the prop rod in here. Okay, needed some extra clearance because there's a spacer down here beneath this intake, and someone had cut a hole in the hood to make room for it, and this hood has a little bit more room to allow for that. So I just put that on for him. It'll still need to be body worked and stuff. The big project, of course, was the supercharger. It's a Vortec V1, probably 5-6 pounds of boost, not crazy. And the hardest part was rerouting where the belts were supposed to go. Not the supercharger side, but the accessory side for the car. But we've got some pretty close tolerances going on, but nothing's touching, everything's working, cars run, belt's staying on, it's all good. So I don't have any oil leaks from running my drain line, tapping into the pan. Don't have any oil leaks from my feed line. So did that. That was super fun. I can't wait to see this thing running properly. It's running super rich right now. It just needs tuning. So also installed a line for the fuel pressure gauge. There's the isolator there. And also a boost gauge. So this line here runs into the back of the intake on a vacuum port for boost. I neatened up some wires, so when I pulled the battery, when I was really pulling all these accessories, these wires here were just smashed under here, almost rubbed through. They go to this relay for the fans. So I made them, disconnectable essentially, so you can pull this radiator and fan independently. It was just hardwired in before. And I also rerouted the wires up and around. So did a little wire protecting. There were just some loose wire situations going on, just trying to make sure we don't have any rubbing problems. None of that was related to what I was doing, but I couldn't just leave bare wires draping over there. So I can't remember anything else under here. So let's, let's just, change direction all of a sudden. The headlights and the fog lights. So those were stock units and kind of, sun faded, and one of the fog lights was broken. So I put new fog lights, new headlights in. On the exterior back here, I replaced the stock cheese grater style tail lights with some smoked LX version. And also I smoked the third brake light there, just to, kind of make it all look good together. So let's see, I know I'm going to forget something. There was a bunch of little things. We talked about the center console. I painted and installed that. The shifter is new. It's a Hurst unit. I'm going to replace the one he had. The radio and HVAC delete project. Also fixing the headlights, headlight switch, replaced the signal switch and melted harness in there. Installed the white face gauges, put LED bulbs in the back of there, and also fixed his fuel gauge with that little, thingamabobber jigger that I can't remember the name of it. So let's just not call it anything. And then put the gauges in the A-pillar. So we've got the boost gauge here and the fuel pressure gauge down here. What else? I don't know if we did anything else. I just don't remember. But, you know, doesn't matter. It all got done. So, again, a fun project. I can't wait to hear this thing actually run properly. And it's going to be a riot to drive. So I'm super excited for the owner. And yeah, hope he enjoys it. So hopefully we see this car back in the shop. I mean, you know, for fun things. And but until then, I think that is going to do it for this car. We can see behind me Mr. E, which I've shortened Mr. Ed to Mr. E since it's, you know, a mystery why that's what his name is. Got him up on the lift and going to do a little cleaning of his undercarriage. Yeah, not to get too personal, but it's a little dirty. So we're going to do that. Ridiculous. I guess since it's up, you know, let's transition over to looking at the goodness that's under this car. So we've got the LSX, which is like, I don't know, 620 horsepower. It's got a TKO 6-speed transmission in it. It's got, I can't remember the brand, but you know, it's got an aftermarket frame underneath. And then the Corvette C7, I believe. I say C7, it's based on the C7 architecture. So they didn't pull this out of a C7, but you know, I guess you could put it in a C7. I just like to say C7. You know, it's just fun. So I've owned a couple Corvettes. It looks very similar. Let's just put it that way. You know, we don't have half shafts. We don't have a drive shaft. Let's just go ahead and say we don't have anything. And even what we do have is not really tightened. It's not permanently in there. It's just kind of mocked up, you know. You know, I'm just looking at this and seeing like 2 threads that are attached. It's that type of thing. So my job is to get this car running and also safe because all these suspension pieces they're in the car, you know, but how in are they? That's the question. And we need to measure for coilovers. I need to put in the headers to make sure we don't interfere with this steering shaft that just popped out of the, you know, steering knuckle there. You know, wiring, plumbing, doesn't have a gas tank, needs a gas tank. That's sitting over there somewhere in that pile. So lots and lots of goodness. It's a great, great car, and it's going to be fun to work on. But yeah, I just figured I'd give you a little sneak peek. Isn't that color gorgeous, by the way? I don't know what color that is, but I like it. Okay, let's get to cleaning. That is the next thing. And maybe a little bit later we'll get the new project in, which it's the clutch project. And we'll just find out what that is when it shows up. But, you know, I think it's cool. So, all right, let's go. feels good to sit down after a long day, weekday, whatever. I was just sitting down here looking at this book. This is the binder that came with Mr. E over there. It's got just everything. It's so detailed. It's got even the individual torque specs for almost pretty much everything on the car. It's got the full inventory that was in those boxes that I was tearing apart. It's got instructions, directions, basically everything that the previous owner wanted done to the car. He was heavily involved in it. So I was looking, this frame that's on the 69 is from Street Rod Garage. I've never heard of them. I don't know who they are, but it looks like the independent rear suspension is actually based off of a C4. So that's interesting. Very interesting. I think the front is based off a different version of a Corvette, or whatever they call it. That's so interesting. Wow. Okay, so I read through this. I've been just periodically reading through the book because I'm learning things. In other words, what the parts that I have in all of those bins, what they were intended for, like what part of the build, you know, that type of thing. So very enlightening. It's always good when you start a project like this to make a plan. Part of that plan is to see what you have, see what the plan was, and in this case, then write out some questions based on what it currently is and where you're going with it. So if it were mine, I would ask all of those questions to myself, and I would answer them, and I would have a complete vision of the project before I started doing anything. In this case, I asked those questions, and then I posed them to the owner of the car, the current owner of the car, whose plan is to sell it, because he acquired it like this. So, yeah, so I'll ask him, and then we'll make a plan based on my questions, his answers, and what's possible and all that. So, yeah, it's a process. It's why we've had a slow start. I've just basically been inventorying, cleaning the car, seeing what I have. Part of the benefit of wiping down all of the surfaces of the car and cleaning is that I'm putting my hands on everything. So as I'm cleaning it, I'm noticing, wow, there are a lot of things that are definitely not tight. You know, like your eyes might skim over them otherwise, but in this case, I'm able to just get a full picture of the car. It's kind of like, back to washing your car. If you wash your car by hand, you become familiar where all the rock chips are, where all the little door dings are, or whatever. You know where it is because you've had your hands all over the car, and it's the exact same thing. So it's something you have to do yourself. You can't have someone else do because you have to know. So reading the book, going through everything, cleaning the car, it's all part of the process. It's not the glamorous part of the process, but who cares about glamour, you know? It's a car, we're building it. There's no job more important than another job. We all just do what we need to do. So, well, I'm gonna just sit here. Yeah. I never know quite how to end these, you know? I'm an awkward conversationalist. It's kind of like, you know, we're talking and talking and then it's silence. Well, okay then. Right. Okie dokie. So, until someone thinks of something to say. In this case, you're pretty quiet. So we just end up with a lot of pregnant pauses. Anyway, I'm really glad that you're here, and let's just see where this project takes us. It's been a fun time finishing up on the Mustang. So let's part. See you later. Bye.